Harry Redknapp praises Archie Gray and Roberto De Zerbi. Reports claim that Spurs are preparing a third bid for Jan-Paul van Hecke after having two previous bids for the player turned down by Brighton. Manchester United have reportedly entered the race to sign Tottenham Hotspur captain Cristian Romero, with the Red Devils said to have presented the Argentine defender with a lucrative contract proposal as they look to strengthen their backline this summer. And Tottenham Hotspur are reportedly edging closer to securing the signing of Manchester City winger Savinho in a deal valued at around £60 million, with talks between the two clubs understood to be advancing positively. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines, but I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already as yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And please make sure you turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live or upload a video to the channel. Okay, let's get into it. Talking to the Standard, former Spurs boss Harry Redknapp stated on Tottenham, Roberto De Zerbi and Archie Gray: "When I was there, Pochettino was there. You would never have imagined us finishing 17th 2 years running, that's for sure. It's been a bit of a disaster really, hasn't it? I think the new manager has sorted it out. I think Tottenham next year for sure, they'll be a top six team. De Zerbi, I like him. He did a great job at Brighton. All the people I talk to who've played for him like him and respect him. I think he'll do well. I think they'll be up there next year. I think Archie Gray would be one of the people that you look to build your team around. He looks a fantastic young pro, good player, and over the last 2 years he's probably been their best player. I think he is, I assume, a captain of the club in the not too distant future. Even next year, if I was there, I wouldn't hesitate to make him captain, even though he's only a young kid. He could be like Ray Wilkins, who became captain of Chelsea when he was very young. He's good enough to do that." Tottenham Hotspur have moved significantly closer to signing Dutch defender Jan-Paul van Hecke after reportedly agreeing personal terms with the Brighton centre-back and preparing a third improved offer that they believe will finally secure a deal. According to Team Talk, Spurs remain confident that their latest bid will convince Brighton to part ways with one of their most important defenders, despite already seeing two substantial offers rejected. The North London club have made strengthening their defence a major priority under manager Roberto De Zerbi, having already added experienced defenders Andy Robertson and Marcos Senesi on free transfers. Tottenham are now targeting another centre-back to bolster a backline that could undergo significant changes this summer. Van Hecke has emerged as De Zerbi's preferred option, largely due to the strong relationship the pair built during their time together at Brighton. Brighton have so far stood firm in negotiations. Chief Executive Paul Barber recently confirmed that two Spurs bids had been rejected, with reports suggesting that the first offer was worth around £40 million and the second rose to approximately £50 million. Despite the defender having just 1 year remaining on his contract, Brighton have maintained a high valuation and are determined to maximise any transfer fee for the Netherlands international. However, Tottenham's pursuit has been boosted by Van Hecke's apparent desire to make the move himself. Reports claim the 26-year-old has informed interested clubs that Spurs are now his preferred destination after discussions with De Zerbi about the Italian's plans for the club. Personal terms are said to have been agreed, and the defender is keen to resolve his future quickly as he prepares for international duty with the Netherlands at the World Cup. Sources cited by Team Talk and transfer journalist Ben Jacobs indicate that Tottenham have now approved a third bid, with growing optimism that an agreement can be reached. The latest offer is expected to exceed the previous proposals and reflect the club's determination to reunite De Zerbi with a player he views as a key component of his rebuilding project in North London. Should the transfer be completed, Van Hecke would become one of Tottenham's most significant signings of the summer and another major piece of De Zerbi's defensive overhaul. The move could also have implications for the futures of current Spurs defenders, with continued speculation surrounding Cristian Romero and other members of the club's back line. Tottenham remain hopeful that a breakthrough with Brighton can be achieved in the coming days. Manchester United have reportedly emerged as surprise contenders to sign Tottenham captain Cristian Romero this summer, with reports claiming the Old Trafford club have already made an attractive contract offer to the Argentine international. According to Football 365, United are prepared to make Romero the focal point of their defence and view him as a key addition ahead of another campaign in the Champions League. The report suggests United's interest has intensified amid growing uncertainty over Romero's future in North London. Tottenham are believed to be increasingly open to selling the 28-year-old, with the club expected to listen to offers as Roberto De Zerbi continues to reshape his squad following a difficult season. Romero has been long linked away with a move from Spurs, with both Atletico Madrid and Barcelona credited with strong interest. However, the latest reports indicate Manchester United could now become the biggest threat to those clubs, with the Premier League side willing to offer both a prominent leadership role and lucrative contract package. A transfer fee in the region of £56 million has been mentioned as the figure that could persuade Spurs to sanction a sale. While no formal bid has yet been confirmed, sources cited by Football 365 claim there is an increasing confidence that a deal is achievable if United decide to press ahead with their interest. Should Romero depart, Tottenham are already exploring potential replacements, of course. Brighton defender Jan-Paul Van Hecke has been heavily linked with a move to North London, with Spurs reportedly making multiple bids for the Dutch international and remaining optimistic of reaching an agreement. The situation remains at an early stage, but the prospect of Romero swapping Tottenham for Manchester United would represent one of the most significant Premier League transfers of the summer, particularly given his status as Spurs captain and one of the club's most influential players. An ESPN report that Tottenham Hotspur are reportedly closing in on a deal worth around £60 million to sign Manchester City winger Savinho, with negotiations between the two clubs said to be progressing well as Roberto De Zerbi looks to strengthen his attacking options ahead of the new season. Reports suggest Spurs have made the Brazilian one of their priority targets and are hopeful of reaching an agreement in the coming weeks. Savinho is understood to be open to the move, having become convinced by De Zerbi's project and the prospect of more consistent first-team football. ESPN Brazil reports that the winger is keen on joining Spurs, with a formal bid expected as negotiations advance. The opportunity to play a leading role in De Zerbi's rebuild appears to have played a significant part in his thinking. Tottenham's pursuit has also gathered momentum amid reports that the club are seeking greater attacking depth following injuries and departures in wide areas. Savinho is viewed as an ideal fit for De Zerbi's high-tempo attacking style, with his pace, creativity and dribbling ability seen as qualities that could significantly improve Spurs' forward line. Should the transfer be completed, Savinho would become one of Tottenham's marquee signings of the summer and another major statement of intent from De Zerbi, who has already overseen moves for defensive reinforcements as part of a wider squad overhaul. Okay, here's my thoughts on all those stories today. Harry Redknapp firstly talking about Roberto De Zerbi Spurs and Archie Gray. I mean, he's certainly right. You know, when he and Mauricio Pochettino were there, you would never have thought that Spurs would finish 17th, even though Redknapp obviously took over when we were fairly low down the table, but really pushed us up the table very quickly. I mean, the players he had in that squad, though, some really great players. You could argue, there is arguments that squad is actually better, the squad that Redknapp had and that certainly Pochettino had, than what De Zerbi's had to deal with so far. So, look, Redknapp, obviously he's come out and said before, hasn't he, about Archie Gray. He obviously loves Archie Gray, and I think the same. I think in years to come, Archie Gray, he could be pushing to be a Spurs captain. I disagree with Redknapp at the moment. I don't think you make Archie Gray captain now. I think there's a hell of a lot for his young shoulders. But I do think Archie Gray could be he is already a magnificent player, but I think he's going to be at Tottenham I hope he's at Tottenham for many years to come. Seems like a lad with his head screwed on, really good footballing family that will back him all the way. And I think, people do disagree, think Archie Gray should go on loan. I think Archie Gray needs to be part of this setup with Spurs, and I agree with Redknapp. I think he's a fantastic player. Van Hecke, again, looks like Spurs are going to be making a third bid for the player, having had two bids rejected, 40 and 50 million respectively. Look, this deal I think is going to get done hopefully over the next few days. They'll agree a fee. That's all that seems to be missing from this. Van Hecke wants Spurs. Spurs want Van Hecke. I think Brighton will sell at the right price, and Brighton will not sell. We know that from previous history, that Brighton will not sell if they don't get the money they want for the player. I wish we were a bit like that sometimes. But then again, sometimes you can be, if they don't sell him, his contract expires next summer and they risk losing him on a free. So delicate balance for Brighton. But I think this gets done. Hopefully gets done before the World Cup starts on Thursday. Romero to United, that would be a surprise to me. Obviously, totally see why United would want Romero. Can't wait to, if this happens, to see Gary Neville handles that in commentary when Romero gets his obligatory red card at some point during the season. But I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest with you. You're definitely strengthening a rival, even though you could argue that Manchester United weren't really our rivals last season because we was nowhere near them. But you know what I'm saying. Do you sell one of your best players to another Premier League side who's kind of competing where you want to be competing? I would be surprised if this happens, but because I think Romero wants to go to one of the Spanish clubs, whether that be Atletico Madrid or a Barcelona or Real Madrid. I'd be surprised if he goes to United. I expect him to leave England. And would Spurs be happy selling to United? I think if they do, they've got to put a significant price tag on Romero. I said I'd argue more than 50 million for Romero, but a player that's 28, is he, Romero? So I mean, he's not young, he's at his peak now, you would have to say. So I'm not sure how I'd feel about him going to United, seeing him in a United shirt. I'd rather he went to Spain, to be honest with you. But get down in the comments, let me know. Do you not care where Romero goes? Looks like he's going anyway, let's face it. It's just where he ends up, of course. And finally, Savinho, again, I did mention yesterday that this one will be mentioned a lot because it always seems to be talk about Savinho and Tottenham in the last 3 transfer windows, isn't it, that we've been after him. But perhaps this time just feels a bit different. As I said before, with Pep Guardiola leaving, it seems like Savinho is keen on the move to Tottenham, keen on the move to work with Roberto De Zerbi, and keen to show what he can do with, hopefully for him, regular or more regular first team minutes. So I've always questioned the price, though, with Savinho. As I've said before, the price, £60 million for Savinho, I just think it's a bit lumpy. I think it's a bit toppy. I would have said 40 maximum, perhaps 45, but 60 million. I know it's not my money, but that money, the money you spend on Savinho, you haven't got to spend on other areas. And obviously, we know Roberto De Zerbi's come out and said he's only got about 12 players that he thinks are good enough at Tottenham. And yes, it's going to take a few transfer windows to get it to a point where he is happy with that squad, but 60 million for Savinho, I don't know. I think it seems a bit too much for me. But get down in the comments, let me know your feelings on that price. How much do you think Savinho is worth, and how much do you think Spurs should pay for Savinho? Let me know. That's all from me today. As I say, get down in the comments, let me know your thoughts as a Tottenham Hotspur fan and on all those stories today. And as always, come on you Spurs.